Okay, so welcome to this tutoring session. My name is Kofi. So understand that yes, you can pass, your math test. So that is my key sentence. Okay, for you. So Caroline, let's work on some of the problems here. The first problem, okay, they say use the graph below to answer the question. So I want to give you a few seconds or minutes to think about the question and tell me what do you think is going to be the correct answer. So based on the graph, right? Based on the graph, let's see if I can make the graph a little bit bigger. Okay. Based on the graph, this is the price of gold. They say dollar per ounce, right? So this is telling you that if you take, for example, July. On July, the price is 200. Why we know that? Because there is a point here. You see, there is a point here, and the price value related to that point is 200. So July, we have a $200. Okay. Now in September, so you go to September, which is here, and you try to find what is the point on the graph related to September. That's the point here.
600 from up.
So the price, okay, for this point is 600.
Yes.
$600. But what the question said, they say, by how much did the price of gold increase? So went up, okay? So increase. So you have a 200 before in July, and in September you have $600. So there is an increase. There is the price went up, but by how much? So to find this is to find the difference between the two prices. So what do you think this difference will be?
The difference will be 300.
Okay, different means we're gonna do subtraction, right? Subtraction, but to do that subtraction, we take a 600 and we minus 200.
200 become 400.
400, thank you. $400. So the correct choice here is 3. 400. That's the way to understand, the graph. Yeah.
Yes.
So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, look here. They say, what was the ratio of the price of gold in September to the price of gold in July? So this is a ratio question. Ratio of something to something. Something to something. Yeah. Okay. Any idea about the ratio?
No.
Not really. Okay, so when they say ratio of something to something, okay, what comes first? Which is here, gold on September, right? So the price of gold on September, we say that is 600.
Yeah.
Okay, so price on gold of September is 600. Okay, so this ratio 2, that's the key word you have to understand. 2. Okay, price on July is what? In July is 200.
200, yeah.
So here we have 600, 200. And that 2 here means division. So we can have it as a 2, or you can have it like a 600 divided by 200. Or we can also use it as 600 if I want to use column. Okay. 200. So for ratio, we use 3 different notation. You can use it as GO, 2 between the two numbers, or use it as a fraction, numerator divided by denominator, or you use it as a column. So they use the column here, but the idea is that we are doing division. So if you divide 600 by 200, or if you want to simplify, reduce 600 by 200, you have to understand that we're going to cancel the 2 zeros from each side, Okay, so we have a 6 over 2. But can we divide 6 by 2?
Yeah, it's 3.
Yes, 3.
Yeah.
Can we divide 2 by 2? 1.
1.
So you have a 3 over 1, which is same as we say 3 to 1. So this is 3 over 1. Or you say 3 column 1 or 3 to 1. That is a ratio of something to something. So like in this meeting here, there is a ratio of, male to female. It is a 1-1. So 1 female to 1 male. So that is a way to understand the ratio of something to something. Yeah. So the correct choice here will be what?
Be number 4.
Number 4. Exactly. Yeah. 3 to 1. Yeah. Now in another question, okay, they can use the same keyword here, but they will switch the order. They can say July to September. So if they say July to September, in that case, they have to be 1 to 3. Because always you have to follow the order. What comes first to what comes next. Yeah. What comes first to what comes next. That's the way, you have to understand it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we move to the next problem?
Yes.
So based on the previous question, do you want to try this one? What do you think, will be the thinking from lowest to highest? From lowest to highest. But if there's something we have to understand, let's understand the graph first. They say number of new subscribers to the daily gazette, okay, in thousand. In thousand. So this is telling that if you have a 8.4, like this 8.4 we have here, it's not just 8.4 subscribers, it's 8.4 thousand. So that means you have to multiply that number by 1,000. Yeah, by 1,000. So if you have a 10.2 here, the 10.2 means 10.2 thousand. So 10.2 multiplied by 1,000. And when they say thousand, thousand means 1 with 3 zeros. So 1,000 is this. Okay. So we will multiply that by 1,000. But so far, when you see the graph, what do you think gonna be the lowest number of new subscribers here? How can we recognize lower?
The lowest.
Yeah, the lowest is
the lowest is the smallest.
yes, the smallest. And can we find this smallest, new subscribers on the graph?
The smallest is from November.
Good, perfect. I like that. So November. So that means we see this graph from bottom up. So bottom up, the lowest point we have here on the graph is that on November. And if you see, it's like it's in the middle. It's like it's in the middle of 8.6 and 8.8.
8.8.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think gonna be the highest?
The highest it will be on February.
February. Perfect. And the letter highlight again. And the amount related to that is 10.0. Yeah, 10.0. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, now, and they say lowest to highest, but here they use 8,400 to 10,200 or 8,700. That means what? After you figure out the two values, so we have here 8.6 and 8.8, we are between. So can you tell me what you think gonna be the value between 8.6 and 8.8? What value?
It's 8.7.
Perfect, 8.7. But we're gonna multiply this 8.7 by 1,000. What is 8.7 multiplied by 1,000?
It's 8,700.
8,700. Thank you. 8,700. And we do the same thing. We take a 10.0, we multiply by 1,000. Understand that 10.0 is same as a 10. Okay, so 10 multiplied by 1,000 will be 10,000. Now, based on this calculation, can you tell me the correct choice we have here? The correct choice. So lowest to highest. Lowest here we said is this 8,700. The highest is 10,000. So from the 5 choices, do you see that choice number 3 is the correct choice? So 8,700 to 10,000. Do you see that? After we figure out the two values, which is lowest to highest, now we see that choice number 3 is the correct choice. Yeah. The key for this problem is that when you see the graph, they don't use 8,700 on the graph. They don't use 10,000 on the graph. They just use these decimal numbers, 8.4, 8.6, 8.8, and so on, so on, so on. But the key word, that's why when you have a graph in a test, a math test you have, or any kind of a subject, they give you a graph, you have to pay attention to anything they write on the graph. So here on the tarot, you see for the tarot, they say in thousands. That means what? What we have here on the left-hand side is not just to say, oh, 8.4, 8.6, but it's in thousands. So they simplify and they put it like that. And the way to do it is just to confuse people. So you'll think like, oh, in the 4 choices, I don't see 8.4, or I don't see 8.6, or I don't put 8.8. No, they multiply by 1,000. That's why we have this result here. Okay, understood? And we have the month. We have the month also and the bottom. We can, ask many questions based on this graph. Okay, but let's continue like this for now. Okay. Problem 3. They say a meteorologist drew the accompanying graph, okay, to show the charges in relative humidity during a 24 hours period in New York City. Okay, what is the range of this set of data? Range. So a quick review also. When we have a graph or we have a function, we call something domain. I don't know if you heard that before, and also range. So when they say domain, they want to know the x values. But when they say range, they want to know y values. Okay, so domain x value, because we see the thing like the width of the graph, and the range is the height of the graph. That's the way you have to understand it. So we have a lowest value and the highest value for the width, the range, which is like a height. Okay, the width, we have the lowest value for x and the highest value for x. So you have to check what interval to have that. So method by elimination. Method by elimination. When you have a question like this, because they ask for range, right? They ask for range. So range, like I said, it is based on the y values. So therefore, B is out because B, they use the x. And also D is out because we cannot say range using x. When they say range, it has to be y. And they say domain, it has to be x. If the question was about domain, okay, we'll keep a B and the D. But because they ask this about range, so they want to know the lowest value and the highest value. And this symbol, when you have a symbol like this, that means it's less than or equal to. So that's again, we want to know that, okay, the y value is between lowest value and the highest value. So before I tell you the correct choice, can you, tell me how you think you're going to solve this type of a question? what we think gonna be the range. So like I said, we want to know all the y values. Y values are like a 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and so on. X values are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, to 24. Okay, but the corner here, in this corner here, let's highlight, here is a 0.
Yeah.
Okay, the origin is a 0. So we want to know, it's like the height of our graph, the lowest value and the highest value. Can you tell me, okay, what's going to be that lowest y value for the graph and the highest y value for the graph?
Okay, the choice I would think it's C. That is equal to Y.
Okay, 30 is less than or equal to y and is less than or equal to 80. Perfect. That's the correct one because the lowest value here is this point. Is this point here. That's the lowest part of the graph you can see. And that point is related to 30. Okay, the highest is when we have this point. Okay, that's the last time. So if you are moving from bottom to the top, the first time you're gonna touch the graph is when you touch it at this red point, and it's at the 30. The y value related to that, because we are looking for y, so the y value related to that is 30. And the last time you see the graph before you go up, you move, you leave the graph, is when you have this blue point, and it's related to 80. So therefore, the correct choice is C. So like you said it correct, C, 30 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 80. Now, suppose the question was to find the domain. Okay, domain. So if it's about the domain, which is for x, so the lowest x value and the highest s value. So in that case, what do you think gonna be the domain? If it's a domain, okay, so the lowest and the highest. So what do you think gonna be the domain? Can you tell me the domain here? So it has to be something less than or equal to something less than or equal to something. So let's fill out the gap. Okay, so what's gonna be the domain here?
It will be that. The domain it will be 0.
0, exactly, because the lowest value for x is a 0, which is this point here. Let me use another color, black. Okay, this one here, yeah, this black point here is related to 0 for x, because we are looking for x value for domain. Okay, 0, and what's going to be between the two symbols, less than equal to, what you're going to put there?
Equal to 24.
Okay, 24 gonna be here, but what you're gonna be between
the 24 to, okay, it's gonna x.
Exactly, because we are looking for domain, so it have to be x. Thank you. Yes, it have to be x. So it's x between 0 and the 24. So if it's the domain, the x, so it's between 0 and the 24. If it's the range, it's between 30 and 80. But you have to understand that domain, we use x for the notation. Range, we use y for the notation. Thank you. Okay, and the last question for this tutoring session is about the slope. So they say, what is the slope of the graph below, the line graphed below? Okay, the slope, and we have 4 choices. So for the slope, we have a different method, okay, to solve this slope question. But the one, okay, I think is quick or simple is when they say rise over run. I don't know if you hear this before. Slope equals rise over run. So change
in y.
Okay, in y divided by change in x. And also remember that y is when we are moving vertically. You are moving vertically. So it's here is like up and down, up or down. So when you move up or move down, so you are making change in y. So run is when you are making change in x, which is left or right. So you move left or you move right, okay? You are making changing on this. So to use the rise over run method is to pick 2 points on the graph. Pick when x is 1, okay? And I could pick another one also here. Okay, so let's ask you, suppose they ask you to find the coordinate of this point. So what will be the coordinate of the first point here? The coordinate means x value and the y value. What will be the coordinate x value and the y value here? For the point I pick here on the x line. What is the x value and the y value?
The y value, it will be 4. 4.
Okay, first of all, let's pick again. So let's make it red. So this point here.
Yeah.
What's the x value for that point and the y value for that point? Okay, let's guide you. Suppose I place a point here.
Yeah.
If I want to know the x value of that point, I will project to the x line. And then we have it at a 4. So the x value for this point is 4. And if I want to know the y value, okay, I project to the y line, which is a vertical line, and I get, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's 3 here. So how we find unit? The space between 2 bars represent 1 unit. So this is 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4 unit. So 4 unit for the x. That's why x value is 4, comma, the y unit is 1, 2, 3 units. So, comma, 3. So the space between 2 lines represent 1 unit. Okay,
Yeah.
now my question is not that. My question is to find the coordinate of the red point I made here. So what is the x value related to that red point? And what will be the y value related to that red point? Because the red point is already on the x line. So to find the coordinate is to read the x value. The x value on that red point is 1. And what is the y value? If you project that point to the y value, so what will be the y value, the y line, what will be the y value for that point? If you project the red point to the y line, the y line is the vertical line. So this vertical line here, okay? If you project the red point to the y line, what will be the coordinate, the value? It will be what?
It will give me 4.
The point is the red point. The red point, this red point, if you project to the y line, that gives you 0. That touch the origin. Don't project it like this. No. You want to project horizontally to touch the, what do you call it? The y axis. So it's 1, 0. 1, 0 means when x is 1, the y value is 0, which is this point here. Any point, so we call this point because we have a 2 coordinate. I think we can have another session in how to read, coordinates, okay? But you have to understand when you have a 1, 0, this means that, okay, the x value of the point is the red point I put here. The x value of the point is on 1, and the y value of the point is 0. So that point is on the x line. Okay, let's finish this, problem. Maybe another session will be to work on, how to plot a point or read coordinate of a point in XY coordinate. So the other point, let me make it black. This point here, where you are seeing 4, okay, the 4 is for the y value, okay, that's the y value because we are seeing that 4 on the y line, okay, but what is the x value you think for this black point? That means you have to project the point to the x line vertically to see what number that will touch, okay, on the x line. So what do you think gonna be the x value of this black point?
It will be same as 0 because it's
Good.
going.
Exactly. Yes, that's 0. So the X value for this black point is 0. The Y value for the black point is 4. But the X value for the red point is 1. And the Y value for the red point is 0. Okay, now we want to find the slope, right? To find the slope, like I will say here, we have to use the rise over run, which is one of the methods. So change on Y. So you're going to move from one point to another point, but you move vertically. We will not move like this. No, we will not move diagonally. No, we're going to move vertically. So vertical means what? I will move from this red point, which on the X line, and I move vertically to reach the same level for the second point, the black point. So do you see that if I move from the X line, because the red point is on this line, right? So if I move here to reach the black point, and let's make another horizontal line there. So I draw two horizontal lines, one from the red point and the one from the other black point. So I want to move from red to black. So how many units you think I could move from red to black? How many units?
Okay.
How many units?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So you move 1, 2, 3, 4, and I reach the black line. Now I'm gonna move to the left to reach the black point. So how many units I'm gonna move to the left to reach the black point?
It will be only 1 unit.
Only 1 unit, thank you. And because it's only 1 unit to one left, that means -1. Because we move left, it have to be negative. If it's the right, it's gonna be positive. Up, positive, down, negative. Okay, so now using the slope rise over run, our slope here, which is rise over run, will be +4 divided by -1. So what is +4 divided by -1?
It will be same as 1 over 4.
+4.
Positive 1 over 4.
It's a +4 on top and the -1 on bottom. So +4 divided by -1. First of all, positive divided by negative is negative.
Yeah, it will become
Negative.
-1 over 4.
Why you say 1 over 4? We don't say 1 divided by 4. We say 4 divided by 1. So it has to be what? Negative what?
4. It has to be 4.
-4.
Yeah.
One moment. It has to be -4. So therefore, the correct answer here is what?
D.
We say -4.
It's supposed to be B. Sorry.
Yeah, it has to be B. So -4. Because it's a +4 divided by -1. So it has to be -4. But I want you to understand that when you have 4 divided by 1, this is not the same as 1 divided by 4. 4 divided by 1 will give you 4, and the 1 divided by 4 will give you 0.25. So they are not the same thing. So 4 divided by 1 will give you 4. But because we say positive divided by negative, that's why the answer is -4.
Okay, let me ask you something. Because when you're dividing negative and positive, you check the sign, the large number, the sign of the large number. So that's why I was thinking it's supposed to be positive. It's supposed to be negative.
Here it has to be negative because every time you divide, negative divided by positive, that gives you negative. Okay? Every time you divide positive by negative, that will give you negative. Every time you divide positive by positive, that will give you positive. Every time you divide negative by negative, that will give you positive. Yeah.
And now I got it.
That will give you, okay. Negative divided by negative is positive. So here we have a positive 4 divided by -1, the answer will be negative,
positive 4.
Negative 4. Yeah, because we divide positive by negative, it will be -4. Okay. Yeah. Another method, for this is to use the slope formula. And then remember, the slope formula is this. Do you remember the slope formula? Yes, no?
Yeah.
What is the slope formula? Y2 minus Y1.
Y minus X1, X2.
Good. So our first point here, we could choose any one for first point. Okay, if I take 1, 0, 1, 0, and I take the other one 0, 4. So I could say, okay, you know what? My X1 is this, Y1 is this, okay, X2, Y2. Okay, applying that. So Y2 is 4 minus Y1 is 0. X2 is what?
X2, it's 0.
Minus X1 is 1. What is 4 minus 0?
4 minus 0, it's
Is 4. 4 minus 0 is 4. And what is 0 minus 1?
It's 0.
0 minus 1 is -1. 0 minus 1 is -1. So you're going to have a 4 divided by -1, which give you the same answer, -4, because the 4 is positive. Any number we see without a sign means that number is positive. So positive 4 divided by -1 is -4. So that is another method, to use to solve the question. That means you gotta find the coordinate of a 2 point on the line, and then you use the slope formula to do that, or use a rise over run to do that. Another thing you have to understand is this. If you see this graph, is the graph going down or going up? Is the graph decreasing or increasing? How to know if a graph is increasing or decreasing? Can you tell me if this graph is, this line here we have, is a line increasing or decreasing?
I don't know how to check.
Okay, this is a graph decreasing, is going down. So you read your graph from left to right. You read the graph like the left to right. Okay, from left to right is a line going down. Why? Because on the left side, okay, the graph is like up, and on the right side, the graph is down. So that means it's going down. So every time you see a line and you want to know if it's going down or going up, see this from left to right. If on the left side you see the graph up, and the right side you see the graph down, that means it's going down. If I have a line like this, okay, like the red line, so this time we see that it's going up, because on the left side I see that graph down, and on the right side is up. So that means it's going up. So it's increasing. So our black line is decreasing. And because it's decreasing, the slope will be negative. That's another keyword. Anytime a line is going down, the slope will be negative. Therefore, I will say, oh, you know what? D is out. C is out, because the slope there are positive. We have a positive 1/4, positive 4. So they cannot, C and the D cannot be the correct choice, because it has to be negative value for this line. So it has to be between the A and the B. So that is a choice of elimination. So you can eliminate some choices and you have a few choices left. So you increase your chance, okay, to do that. And based on what we did here, the correct choice is B. Okay, let's stop here for today. And I think we're gonna have more sessions, okay, based on different topics. So far, thank you for attending, and I think I will see you, okay, for our next session.